Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Sam from Rokoko, and today we're calling out 3 amazing Rokoko creators. One of the first questions I get from people who are thinking about adopting Rokoko mocap is, can you show me some creators and some finished work where Rokoko has been used so I can see what the quality is like? In this series of videos, we're going to be looking at a bunch of my favorite Rokoko creators. In this first video, we're going to be looking at 3 creators who make fan films. So those are films that are set in franchise universes. In this case, we're looking at Star Wars, Helldivers 2, we got some Halo, we got some Titanfall. However, if you want to see more examples of Rokoko creators, you can always check out our Instagram channel, on which we're always trying to highlight any cool Rokoko-based motion capture projects that we either find in the wild or are sent to us or whatever. Always tag Rokoko Motion, tag us at Hello Rokoko, and we would love to feature your work. So in this case, we're going to take a peek at 3 creators: Kryptik Studios, Plot Coalition, and Loacher Films, all of which you can find on YouTube, and I'm going to link to everything down in the description below because I really suggest you go and check out their channels. Again, not just to see the Rokoko, but also because these creators are making just incredible fan-made, films, really, films. All 3 of these creators are also working in Unreal Engine. In other videos, we're gonna get into Blender creators and Maya creators and things like that. But these 3 are all Unreal Engine creators. And the other thing that's amazing about all 3 of these creators is that they give you a little bit of some behind the scenes of how they're making these short films. They also have Discords and Patreons, which again, Patreon is amazing. You can support these small indie artists directly. I really recommend, if you're in this space and you're working with Rokoko mocap, join their Discord, join their Patreon. The behind the scenes content to show you how they're getting this level of quality out of their mocap gear is worth it on its own, much less all the other perks that come with it. So let's start with Plot Coalition. I'm just gonna use the Plot Coalition name. You can go find his real name on his YouTube channel. When I first started seeing a lot of Plot Coalition stuff out there, a lot of it was Titanfall based. There's a bunch of good Titanfall films, but that was a couple years ago. Since then, they've made an incredible Red Dead Redemption 2 based fan film, but also a lot of Helldivers 2 stuff. This is kind of where they've been focusing for now. The quality that Plot Coalition has been able to get out of his Rokoko mocap is really fantastic. And the other thing, like I said in the beginning of the video, is that they go through and show a lot of behind the scenes content about how they are making these short films. One thing that they talk about in particular is that they are using the Unreal Engine mannequin, the base mannequin, as the base skeleton for a lot of their characters, which means they also have access to the Unreal Engine S-tier control rig, as they say, which is absolutely true. Unreal comes with this incredible control rig for their base mannequin, and if you're using the same skeleton as their base mannequin for your characters, you get access to this control rig. Now, because Helldivers are always using rifles and things, another thing that's really cool to look at is how they handle two-handed weapons. Two-handed weapons with inertial motion capture is always a little bit tricky, but they've developed some really cool ways of going about it and getting that stickiness of the hands on the rifles to make that two-handed weapon, feel realistic. Plot Coalition is currently working on their Helldivers 2 fan film for Liberty. It looks hilarious. You can find updates on their YouTube channel, and again, go check it out. If you're curious about Rokoko mocap in this space, they're a great example. The next creator I want to talk about is Kryptik Studios. So Kryptik Studios has worked mainly on Star Wars based fan films, but if you jump over their YouTube, they actually just did a Helldivers 2 cinematic as well. So they dabble in a couple different of these franchises too. The real call out for Kryptik Studios is their new series Lycan, which is based in the Star Wars universe, and the quality is just unbelievable. Not only the motion capture, but the sound design, the way that their shots are designed, everything is just taken up to the next level and is a great example of a Rokoko creator who is kind of playing within the sandbox of Rokoko's limitations to create this very high quality output. They also have a Patreon and they have a Discord as well, so you can join those if you want to know more and find some behind the scenes stuff. They have behind the scenes stuff on their YouTube channel as well. But on their Patreon, there are really interesting things like how they're handling blasters and making some systems in Unreal Engine that make the filmmaking process, the virtual production process in Unreal, a little bit easier and a little bit more streamlined. If you want to see some bananas Star Wars fan films, go check them out, and stay tuned for that Lycan series, of which episode 1 should be dropping sometime soon, and I think there's going to be a few of them moving forward, but really great stuff. Okay, the final person I'll call out is Loacher Films. So Loacher Films hasn't been as active these days, but they have some incredible Star Wars fan films and also some Halo stuff on their channel that is really good. The Breakthrough Star Wars Battalion video that they did, for example, is a great place to start. It shows some really incredible use of the Rokoko gear to get some custom animations that would have been a pain in the butt if they were trying to, scour Mixamo for all these animations and tie them together. The other thing that's really cool about Loacher Films is that although it's a little bit older, they did some reviews of the Rokoko Smart Suit Pro 2 and the Smart Gloves and show you a lot of behind the scenes about how they did some stunt work for their Star Wars fan films. But there's also a bunch of other videos on their channel that are equally incredible, so go check it all out. It's a great way to waste an hour, looking at some of this stuff. So I encourage you to go do so, especially if you're curious about what you can get out of the Rokoko system. So those are 3 creators that I just wanted to highlight in this first episode of our community callouts for Rokoko creators. Again, all the links for these are down in the description below, and I really encourage you to go to their YouTube channels, go to their Patreons, go to their Discord, especially if you're thinking about purchasing a Rokoko system, you don't really know how it's going to perform. These Discords are full of lovely, friendly, helpful people who will tell you, the truth. They're not paid by us. Rokoko's not perfect. They're going to tell you some of the limitations and how they got over them and things like that. Checking out creators who are actually using the tools in production-like environments, especially indie creators who do all of this mostly on their own. That's a really good way to see if Rokoko's going to make sense for you. And the best part, again, is that there's all this behind the scenes footage, so you can see some of the strategic decisions they made to get the best quality out of their Rokoko gear. So stay tuned for the next community callouts episode where we're going to go through some more awesome creators, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everyone.